We are back on Inside Politics. Our guest today, Dr. Alex Jahangir. He's the chairman of the Metro Board of Health. He's also the head of the city's coronavirus task force. Dr. Jahangir, your particular plan talks about non-residential schools, public schools, private schools that are here in town, K through 12. It doesn't talk about residential schools, the colleges and universities, and those are a big part of Nashville. We were the Athens of the South long before we were Music City. What is your guidance to schools like Vanderbilt and Lipscomb and Belmont and others? They've got students coming back in August. Do you want them to come back and be in the dorms? I mean, those are not socially distancing kind of places normally.
You're right. Those are big entities, and I know each of those entities have people who are working on those and really looking at best practices, and we trust that those entities will make the right decision. In fact, I work at Vanderbilt, and I'm actually on the Vanderbilt University committee that looks at what Vanderbilt's thinking of doing. And there's already some colleges, I don't know, here in town that have canceled their fall semester. So we're going to trust the experts who know best practices, who have a fundamental expectation of taking care of their students to guide that discussion.
Also in the area of schools, the State Board of Education has sent out guidance to local schools, both public and private, about how to hold potential graduation ceremonies or graduation celebrations for the class of 2020. Those tend to be kind of large events. What is the guidance from Metro about those being held in Davidson County?
So, two things. First of all, as I mentioned in an earlier segment, I want the experts to help us make these decisions. So there's actually a working group right now of our public schools, our independent schools, our parochial schools, and our charter schools, as well as members of the public health department, to look at best practices around graduation, summer programs, school year, as well as possibly school athletics for Nashville, Davidson County. We have in our order, in our roadmap, which will eventually become an order perhaps, limitations on crowd size gatherings at certain phases. I would just make the assumption that those crowd size gatherings will probably influence some of those decisions. But I hope that we, as a task force using the subcommittee, can better answer that question in the very near future. But I get it. I mean, my graduation ceremonies, the many I've had, have been very meaningful for me, and I have 3 kids myself, and while they're not graduating anytime soon, I can't wait to be a part of that. So we recognized it, but we also want to make sure the science and data keeps our community healthy, and we'll follow that.
So a couple of personal questions as we wrap up here. You became chairman of the Board of Health just last August, been in that position only less than a year. In your wildest dreams or worst nightmares, did you ever think you'd be in the leadership position like this during a pandemic, of all things?
No, it was actually when I called my wife after our board meeting, and I said, you won't believe this. The board committee members have voted that I take this role, and I have to go back. I joined the board about 2.5 years ago, taking the place of Dr. Henry Foster, who growing up, I had so much admiration for this person who had done so much for our country, and so first that was very humbling, and then to be given the opportunity to serve as the chair of the board. As you said, in August or September, whatever it was, it blew my mind. And I had about 3 objectives. I wanted to hire a new director. I wanted to revise the Metro charter around health, because it's about 50, 60 years, and public health has changed so much in a time frame. And then youth violence and violence is something that, as a trauma surgeon, is really important to me. And I wanted to maybe take a platform on that. But, life is full of blessings and full of surprises, and that is goodness. I'm sorry. All right. So,
go ahead.
As I said, life's sometimes full of surprises and blessings, and our lights just came back on. But in all sincerity, because of that, no, I would never have imagined that. But it is such an opportunity, and I'm honored to be able to serve.
As we wrap up, you're on TV every day on all the channels. If you go out and you're not wearing your mask, are you recognized, and are you ready for somebody to make a bobble doll out of you like they did Dr. Fossey?
Well, I want to highlight, I do always have my mask at both at our press conferences and in public, as is recommended. And yeah, it's very humbling for me. I mean, I'm a private person, and yeah, people recognize me occasionally, and it's very humbling, and I appreciate it, and I hope to God nobody wastes their energy or their efforts or their supplies to even consider a bobblehead. So no, I no bobbleheads, but in all sincerity, it is truly humbling and an honor to serve. And I just hope that very quickly I won't have to be on TV all the time, so we can get back to a new normal.
Very quickly, with the last question, how difficult has this been on you, and particularly on your family? Are they all safe and well at this point?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that. We've been very fortunate that they are safe. I have 3 young kids from kindergarten, first and third grade. My wife, who also works, has really had to take even a bigger burden but you know what? Everyone's taking a burden, right? So that's not a big deal because we're no different than anyone else. But and I have parents and my grandparents. My grandmother's still alive, and they all live in the region. And I think those are the people I worry most about. Is our parents, our grandparents, and that's why it's so important for us to really be vigilant. Especially when you're, right. I'm in my 40s and my 20 and 30-year-olds.
All right.
So
thank you very much,
it's really important that we stay vigilant.
Dr. Jahangir, thank you so much, and thank you for your service to the community. And thank you for joining us on Inside Politics. We'll be back here again for a future show. If you can't get enough politics in the meantime, go to the Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. New commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you here next time. Goodbye.
I guess we were.